Hi, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today, I have as my special guest Aya Restrepo, who is the founder of Glam Jail Med Spa. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for
Great,
having
great.
me.
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited to feature a local Birmingham business. But before we dive into the details of your business, known as the Glam Jail Med Spa, why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory?
So, Glam Jail Med Spa was born in 2020 during our COVID pandemic. But the backstory of that really comes from my childhood. I used to always get backhanded comments and get compared to my sister because she was so beautiful. So they'd always tell her, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and tell me, "You're getting there," or "Oh, you're got such a great personality." So I think from childhood, I hyper focused on the 90s models, magazines, beauty, the power of beauty, the presence of a room. And I really appreciated all things beauty in life. Obviously, you can see I love decorating and I do fashion as well. So as I continue to grow, I essentially focused on beauty being the cherry on top and really focusing on self value. And what I try to do is drive the med spa industry into celebrating aging, celebrating who you are, but respectfully looking as elegant and as healthy as you can be for your age. And that's kind of where Glam Jail's thought process came from, coming to Glam Jail so we can set you free. You can break free from whatever's holding you back. We celebrate the unique identity that you have, and then we enhance things for you that you feel are giving you forms of insecurity. We don't transform you into a completely different person. And I really like leaning in on that and making people feel really good about themselves before they leave here, especially with the responsibility that we have with our children in today's societies with filters and where they need to feel about themselves and not losing their identity and needing to look like a cookie cutter look of something else that's just trending right now.
And you said that you actually started this in 2020.
I
Um,
did.
of all the years to
I
start,
know.
um,
It was-
and you're a single mom with a vision. And so, what was one of the biggest hurdles you faced starting a business at one of the most transformative years any of us have ever experienced?
So at that time, I think the biggest hurdle would be that I had to have my hands in everything. And not just everything, like I couldn't afford to hire marketing. So I would study marketing at night by myself, so I really had to lean in to trying to be everything because I didn't have enough money to hire the essential people. And then I didn't want to feel too broke that I had to hustle and hustle in the wrong types of ways. So I really tried to lean in and perfect and understand what I can do for low hanging fruit to at least, keep my following and also get newer people in the door. And as well as try to maintain being a good mother. And that work life balance that people always tell you is honestly ridiculous to me because when I'm at work, I feel like crap because I'm not home mothering. And when I'm mothering, I'm worrying about money and getting back to work and worrying about making sure I'm executing being an entrepreneur. So I really had a good conversation with my children about living in Aya land, like mommy loves you. This is the best I can do. I'm always here for you, but I may not actually be in your face all the time. So essentially, right?
So, from some of the things that you said, so the inspiration was kind of things in your childhood that inspired you to go this route. And your target market, would you say it's more seasoned women, more older women, or is there a certain demographic that you're after? I don't, what is the
You know,
demographic that you're serving?
what? I actually love the unapologetic woman who is generally 35 and up. I service everyone.
Hmm.
But unapologetic woman, 35 and up, either an extremely busy mother, a powerhouse woman. I don't have time. I trust you. I want you to make sure my skin looks healthy. I want to look
Hmm.
respectable. That those are the type of woman that I really love serving because it feeds my soul. The different, different spas have different niches. Mine is celebrating those women because as they age, I want to make sure they don't feel like they're abstracts in society. They're still very relevant. They still got it when they enter a room. They're not being complimented on their scarves and their outfits versus how beautiful they look all together. And they're getting away from the comments as, oh my God, you look so good for your age. I hope I look like that when I'm 55, 60. How about she just looks beautiful and we're celebrating that she is alive and that she's made it this far? And how about we celebrate, the fact that she is maintaining a business or mothering 4 children and she looks damn good and she was able to put on her facial cream this morning with 3 kids hanging off her leg. Why don't we head into that direction versus aging as a disease? Let's all be extremely scared of it. And then let's scare the hell out of our young ones where we've got 10-year-olds asking me if under eye darkness is normal. And why don't we flip the switch and celebrate being alive, given we've got mental issues now that are at an all-time high. We've got health issues. We just want to feel good about ourselves every day. We want to look as beautiful as we can respectfully maintain ourselves without transforming into another person. And we want to be responsible for our children to know that when we get dressed up, we are looking fancy because we were already beautiful. We are not trying to look beautiful by putting makeup on. I was already beautiful. Now I just want to be fancy today. So
Yeah.
that's the message that
And
we
I,
want
I do hope that people have evolved a little in the responses they give to people when they meet them and complimenting them on their clothing. And I certainly hope people aren't saying, I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
to. I
I hope that.
And I have a 82-year-old powerhouse project manager. She does Pilates. She's fully active. She can date if she wants to. She gets hormone replacement, which we do over here. And the great thing about her is she's a beacon of hope for all the women coming in here when something goes wrong for them. They get a divorce. They feel like they're damaged. Their kids
She's
are
82
outgrown the
years
house.
old.
Would you say she's
She's
82?
82.
Yes, and she's a
That's
higher project
fantastic.
manager because people need to see that you are still relevant. She's still got it. She gives me bumper sticker advice about my life. I call her my fairy godmother. We need to hear from these women. These women are the women that we look up to. That people are like, when I say an 82-year-old woman, they think of a frail, fragile woman. No, this woman is in Dolce and Gabbana 5-inch heels, strutting over here, and she's probably more fit than I am. So
I love it. I love hearing that. And I also love the fact that you're hiring across a demographic and not a certain age only. So that is
yeah,
really, I love that when I love seeing that in businesses. And I do see that in a lot of Michigan entrepreneurs. They aren't just hiring a certain look that's popular. They're hiring everybody because our society is made of everybody. I love that.
yeah.
So you have a really interesting name for your business, Glam Jail Med Spa. What is I get the glam and the med and the spa, but what about the jail piece? Can you speak to that? Where did
Yes,
that
I
come from?
remember so there was an artist that did a series. His name is Paul Cursas, and he did a series called Glam Jail, and I had a picture of it, and I would look at that picture and giggle a little bit because the pictures depict that beauty is very important in the way I analyzed it, but it's not the only thing of your value. So there's a little giggle when you're like, I'm going to Glam Jail. I feel like I need something, so I'm going to go to the Glam Jail, and then we're going to help you break free.
I
So it's a play on words. In our Glam Jail, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of happiness, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of artists that are represented in here. And I just feel like it's a fun way to say that you're going somewhere and you're saying that you're going to Glam Jail versus, another, glow up.
Mhm.
Or standard sterile environment. Like I like when my patients stop by and are even like, okay, I just want to sit and have, a coffee and chat with Gretchen for today. Like it should feel like a community feel where you're coming to my house. Glam Jail is my home. It's open for you. It's a loving environment. It shouldn't be scary. It's a trusted environment. And you remember, even on a rainy day like today, that we are celebrating being alive and we are going to live unapologetically.
And I noticed as I was looking through photographs of your spa, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of art. I love art, so I was looking at them all very carefully because I look at the artwork first. I always notice artwork when I'm on calls with people. That's the first thing I see on a Zoom. Um, Tell me about how did you art is some of this artwork yours, or how have you, sourced it or curated it to bring into the spa environment, and are all the rooms, decorated like this?
Yeah, so every room is different,
Mhm.
and I have ADHD, so I name my rooms off of the nicknames. So the peacock room, the flower room, the floribunda room. So each room, I kind of dress it up like I'm dressing up an outfit, and I am actually creating fashion from Italy and France right now. So that's the new venture. So each room, I really love patterns and I love colors. So it genuinely is me just swiping and digging. My mother is excellent at interior design, and I think I naturally just it's in our genetics that we sit there and we completely analyze a room and we redo it until we like it. The artists are my friends, sometimes my patients, and I think it's just in conversation that they appreciate what I have in here, and then we talk about it, and then we curate something, and then they execute my vision. So I've got a floribunda room, and my first time in Italy was actually 2 years ago, and I remember telling them in all the romantic Italian movies I see, like gardens, I want the wallpaper to come alive above me. So I live here. This is actually probably spend more time here than I do at home. So I wanted to make it as beautiful and as stimulating as possible. So it's a playful luxury where you get to smell a nice scent, you get the service that you deserve. Everybody deserves to be feeling like they're taken care of and that they're coming to a five-star experience. And then you are also surrounded by different art where you're stimulated and it's fun to look at. So I've got many different artists that work here that I have them do bespoke designs just for Glam Jail because it is each room should feel like a different experience for you. So the peacock room has got, gilded feathers. The floribunda room's got 40,000 flowers hanging above your head. And we do events in that. And then we've got a butterfly room where there's a comma that reminds you to just take a deep breath. And then it's a mobile that actually moves. So there's different art installations in here. And I love artists. I love art and I love supporting them. And I think people need to know more about what art can do for you to make you feel better.
And I love that about you because art is so important to me, and I love that you're incorporating it in your business so that it is an experience. It's not just going there to get a treatment of some sort. It's about being immersing that your entire being into it, so it's a
Yeah,
visceral kind of experience. And I think that's so important for actually making it something that's truly memorable, unforgettable. I love that.
exactly. Yeah.
Now, I noticed that you have 2 locations right here in Birmingham where we both reside, and also New York City. How did you get these 2 cities? Are you from New York City or are you from Birmingham? Where are you from?
In my mind, I'm from New York City and I live the Sex and the City life. But no, I'm not from New York City. I'm from Michigan. And what happened is I got trained by Dr. Jan Trokel out in New York City on Fifth Avenue, and he taught me the Y lift. And when I went there and dealt with the patients who are from Fifth Avenue and from the area around Fifth Avenue, I really handled those patients really well. So Dr. Trokel had spoken with me and was like, if you want, you can, work here. And I really loved the concept of it. So I established Glam Jail in New York City and I pop up at the Pierre Taj. Right now, with the headquarters that we have here and the expansion of our business, I haven't been going as often, but really it comes from just really loving New York City. I'm a huge foodie. So over there is no calorie count. I really don't care. You know what? Men don't run away when you're naked anyway. So I eat what I want to. And I get to play over there and then I get to work. So it's basically my version of Disneyland and I forget how old I am over there. There's always something to do. So it's really like a holiday for me and generally I love my job. So I'm not really working. This is my social life at this point. And a lot of patients have done more for me than I've done for them. Their stories, their heartbreaks. I learn about myself listening to them. It's a very personal experience because I'm dealing with their faces. And generally, when they're coming in, there's a reason why they came in. So it's not that they didn't have the confidence, it's just something might have happened or they noticed something, a picture. So it usually links to something, and then we have like a heart to heart. And I'm very blessed to be able to be trusted to listen to the stories that I've heard in this spa.
And speaking about your clients and your clientele, um, what have you done? How did you get the word out about Glam Jail? How did you, when you first started, how did you get the word out? And how do you build clientele now? Is it mainly word of mouth at this point?
Yeah, actually, it's mostly word of mouth. There is some social media to it, but it's been mostly word of mouth. Like, somebody saw their friend's face. And what I say is a telltale sign that I've done a good job is what are you doing that you look so good versus what did you just do? Right. So I always say you're walking around with my artwork. We follow skin health first. So when we follow skin health, beauty always follows, and then we tweak as we go, right? I mean, I live here, so I have all day to go slow for you so that you can take baby steps. And when friends talk to each other and then they finally ask that question and they send their friends in here and they know they can be trusted with their care, the word gets out, which is really funny because we've grown quite a bit and I still don't have a sign on the outside of my building because we're going to paint it because I'm so picky about the art that I want it to be perfect on the outside too. So perfection sometimes slows me down. Um, but that is usually what brings them in. People do watch Instagram. I always ask them when they come in here, there's a clientele that obviously have found me on Instagram. They do their homework though, which I'm proud of them for doing it. They check Google, they check our reviews. We've got a lot of great reviews. They ask people, they notice somebody else is following me, and then they have a conversation and then they come in. And then we don't make them do anything. We give them information on their first visit. Let's learn about
Okay,
your
yeah, because I wanted you to break down the client experience, like how does it all work? Do they call, make an appointment, they come in, what happens at that appointment? And later we'll jump into the services, but what happens in that first
approach.
interchange?
Yeah. So preferably, I prefer that people book a skin consult. At that skin consult, we do something called a Visia scan, also known as the deep skin analysis. It analyzes, the red undertones in your face. If you have capillaries, if you have rosacea, we analyze brown pigmentation in your face. What's going to surface in the next 5 years, and what's already showed up on your
Is
skin.
it like a scan, like a
Yes.
computerized
Yeah,
scan?
exactly. It almost looks like you're getting an eye exam, but your
Oh,
eyes are closed, and then it scans your face in
oh,
3 directions.
mhm.
And then it gives us an analysis of your skin. So, I could be doing 50% better than people in my age range for dark spots or wrinkles or texture or pores or redness. UV sun damage, very important. We have a lot of the men that love doing it who are golfers because we end up removing a lot of sun damage from a health perspective. And so what happens is they get the scan and then we look at that scan and we think about, okay, what's the first thing that we are going to do for you? And it really depends on the woman or the man and what they're doing at home. Most men, no offense, they don't really do much. And we try to do baby steps for them to start, kind of getting into their skin health first, and then, moving on to things like lasers and chemical peels. And that's exactly what we do. We start with a very light chemical peel. We get the dead skin off because if I put them on a skincare regimen and they're not exfoliated, now I've got congested pores that aren't going to accept hydration. And you've got most people who are either perimenopausal, menopausal, they don't have time to take care of their skin. So I like to hit a reset button for them and then get them on a good regimen at home. And then from then I could utilize things like, salmon sperm, regenerative medicine, and we can head towards lasers. Before the first answer is always Botox and fillers, right? We are not a Botox filler house. I like them to have skin health. Let's get rid of the dead skin. Let's get rid of the congestion that you've done all summer. We're in sweater season. We need to get your hydration up. It's a very curated skincare regimen for your lifestyle. It's not 7 steps for everyone, including our kids. I'm using the same thing that my kids are using, or I'm using the same thing for the last 20 years. Like, we really try to figure out their lifestyle. Do you work out? Do you travel a lot? How often are you washing your face? And then I handhold pre-procedure, procedure, and post-procedure. So you get a laser. I am your toxic wife that I will text you that you have to send me your picture the next day, because each step in that needs to be handheld until I know that you understand what your regimen is supposed to look like, because the skincare industry is so overwhelming. I get overwhelmed by the products out there and the drug reps coming in. I'm like, hang on. Let me just make sure that this is working first. And so people really need to understand the steps of skincare that they're doing rather than having 40 things in their closet. They fall off the wagon and there's nobody to tell them what to do now. And then they buy the next product and everything's expiring and they're wasting their money.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's an interesting thing. So they
Yeah.
meet with you first?
Yes.
Okay, everybody meets with you first.
Yep. Everybody
Okay,
meets with me first, and we do that at a consult. The
mhm,
consult is at no charge. They get to walk away with this paper with a plan, and
I
then
see.
they decide what they're doing next.
I see. Okay, okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the services just for a few minutes. So what now you have a variety of services that you offer.
Yes.
Some are kind of more of the med spa, then you have some hormonal stuff, and you've got a bunch of different things. Can you just talk about each section and the types of things that you're doing? You don't have to mention necessarily brand names, but what are they kind of used for? What do they help somebody with?
Absolutely. So, what we do after that Visia scan, we tend to
Mhm,
love chemical peels to remove dead skin. We like to use lasers.
mhm.
Lasers are excellent because they actually wake your cells up to remember how to behave, like they're behaving like they're 25 versus behaving like they're like, 60. And then what we tend to do is put them, like I said, on a skincare regimen to be supportive, like the esthetician at home that's in their pocket. And then after we do that, we start looking at the angles of the face. And with the angles of the face, I could do things like our niche procedure, like the Y lift, where we use filler that mimics bone versus looking puffy, where your face looks kind of like chipmunky and we're following only fat. I really like to watch bony structure versus fat structure.
Do you inject things in this under the skin then? You're injecting things?
But it's not a standard injection way of doing it. I use filler like it's an implant. That way, when your filler's in your face, it moves and looks like bone, doesn't look like puffy. I don't like the puffy look. I like it to look tight and pull back, right? And then from there, we look at the integrity. We continue to look at the integrity of the skin. What are they doing? And then we move on to things, unless they first come complaining about it, to the holistic medicine of longevity, which has been looked at like it was a crime for women. And women are sitting there in their lab ranges feeling like crap like everyone else. Hi, I feel tired and I feel like crap. And we're neurotic. So we're like, okay, you know what? It must be because I'm not sleeping. It must be because I didn't do this, or I need to get up at this time and sleep at this time and work out this much and whatever. But the reality is that our bodies are aging too and we're depleted. So hormone replacement and peptides are giving people back the sensation that they feel whole again, right? So
Mhm,
we're giving back energy back. And yes, energy comes with a sex drive when I give testosterone to women, but I can't separate them. And having a sex drive and even not having a partner is still essential because that is how you felt when you were younger and you felt good. So these things are very essential to one, your skincare, your health, the way you feel. And you are going to age faster if you're stressed out and you don't feel good. And a lot of the women, as they enter into menopause, if they had depression, anxiety, whatnot in their genetics or in their family, gets a lot worse as they're perimenopausal. So now you've got a tired woman, no testosterone, gaining weight, who can't get to the gym and keep her eyes open. So there's things that we have to do to make them not feel so frail as they're continuing to age so that we're still functioning at a holistic way so that I could feel good also while looking good, not just looking good, but I can't keep my eyes open by 7 o'clock and I can't even remember anything that I ate this morning.
So, like, the because I'm not really familiar with a lot of these things, like the hormone type of stuff, is that, like are they, like, in pill form? Are they inject like,
So
shots,
the
or how does that
pellets,
work?
I do pellets, I do creams. I haven't
Okay,
really dived into shots yet.
okay.
What we do is we do it responsibly. We draw your blood. I
Mhm,
run it through a system that talks. Well, once I know your symptoms, I run it through a system of your blood and your symptoms attached, and then I get recommendations. I get recommendations from an approved site that does hormone replacement called BioT, which is
mhm,
very trusted and is used quite a bit nationally. And what happens then is I have a discussion with the patient. Okay, these are what you're feeling like. I usually run more conservative, especially the first time that I'm doing a pellet. It's organic, it's made from yams, and it's
mhm.
natural. It's not the old hormone replacement where it's dangerous for you or it's made from like, stuff that's bad for your system. This actually gets placed into your like it's in like your hip area.
Mm,
So
okay.
I'm a surgical PA. I numb them, I do a little puncture, and then I put a pellet in there. Every time their heart beats, this pellet slowly melts off. And after 2 weeks, they get a peak. And then they usually don't have to think about it anymore. They've got testosterone in their system, they feel good. And by 3 to 4 months, we redraw their labs again, and then we reinsert a pellet if needed. baby steps. Like I just started testosterone cream. So for me, if when my labs are drawn at 41, everything looks great from a primary care standpoint. You're fine. You look good. You look like you work out. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like crap. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely feel like crap. And I'm not, I can't lose a pound as easy, or like I just don't feel good. Like I don't have energy. I don't really have a sex drive. Like it's like I'm struggling. I'm like, I know what I'm supposed to feel like. So when I ran it through longevity lab work, it recommended a low dose testosterone, even a low dose thyroid. So longevity medicine is a slow crawl, and it's got stigma still attached to it. But the reality is you can go slow and see how your body's doing with it, and then slowly start adding things and actually feel good. So that's where we head in that route for it.
So you offer like a very comprehensive spectrum of services for your clientele. Like you said, 35 and up to serve at different parts of your life. How
Yeah.
often do people come to the spa? Are they on a monthly regimen? Do they come for a period of 6 months and then don't come? Or does it just depend upon their customized, bespoke uh, program? How does it
Yeah.
work?
So we have all the above. I've got women who really love coming here once a month. They're not doing anything extremely invasive. They might just be doing a 12-minute peel with salmon sperm and a targeted mask, just to keep their glow going. And then I've got women that stop in once every 2 to 3 months. That's pretty standard. And then I've got people who are like, give me everything you got now, and I might be able to come back in 6 months. So it really varies on their lifestyle, how well their skin's doing. I'm accessible by phone. I'm accessible to be able to do um, uh, like a Zoom type meeting where I can talk to them about their skincare and what they should do to up their skincare. So it really varies. It really is bespoke, and it's also budget driven as well. So it is
All right.
important. I always tell my patients, I'm very transparent. I don't come from millions of dollars. You can tell me, listen, this is my budget. I need to do something. Please help me. There's nothing wrong with that. We bring people out in the room. We talk about it in the room. It doesn't need to be paid in front of everybody else and God. It's a private matter, and we will do what we can on your budget, and we'll try to help you out.
Well, I really appreciate, I love your personality. You're so, I mean, it's like,
I try to
um,
figure it down, but it just can't.
it comes with the art, and I mean everything about you is like so peppy and energetic. I love it, and you're the things you say are great. I mean, they're just classic. These should all be quotes on the wall.
Oh,
It's great. Um, I've really enjoyed learning about Glam Jail Med Spa, all the things that you're doing, your startup story, the fact that you started in 2020 um, when it was just like the toughest time ever, and that you're going to have a sign soon for your Birmingham location, and you're in Birmingham and New York City, so people can catch you two places. But what is your final piece of advice to entrepreneurs, since you are one? You are a model Michigan entrepreneur. What's your advice?
thank you so much. So, okay. So people used to always say grit, grit and persistence, grit and persistence. I always say grit with humor, because I swear to God, I've had multiple meltdowns as an entrepreneur, cried. So I think the humor part really takes away sweating the small stuff. Like I've been robbed. I've made crazy mistakes. And I think you just have to like laugh a little bit. Like if you want to become a big time entrepreneur, you've got to let go of the small things and be able to laugh a little bit. Like that was so stupid. Like, what was I thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
okay, because you're going to take bigger risks. And at the end of the day, money is important. If I can use money as an example, yes, like make sure you still have a roof over your head. Don't get crazy. But what I'm saying is, you lose 10,000 here, you lose 15,000 there, and you tried something. At least you tried something, So you're going
great
to learn
advice.
something out of it. And I think if you can laugh a little at yourself and find another entrepreneur or somebody else who's messed up, because trust me, we all have all messed up, then I think it takes a little bit of that weight off. And in the end of the day, we're trying our best to provide a service that's going to help people. And I'm not a genius. I didn't grow up, born preset entrepreneur. So there's a lot of mistakes, but as long as you can laugh at yourself a little bit and laugh with someone, um, then, then I think you're going to be okay. And if things aren't working out, it's not working out.
Great advice. I want to thank you so much, Aya Restrepo, founder of Glam Jail Med Spa. If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at MichiganEntrepreneurTV.com. Please join me again in the future when we interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.